Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On Deck. I'm Russ Morgan here with my man Finn Stanza. We just did our Who Killed the Montreal Expos episode that Finn Stanza was hosting for us with I don't remember Alan.
Alan Poupard and Alex, the Cheeska of Finstock Sports Network. But Alan, bigger an Expos fan than I ever will be because he got to live it from the beginning to the end. I was born in '82, so for me, that my memory started like in '87. He went back all the way to '69. So
great to get. It was a great documentary. Great to get a great panel. Guys who obviously me and Alex are just fans who love baseball, but guys who are actually invested in the team. But that was great. But the season's over. Dodgers ended up winning the World Series 4-3. I ended up what it went 10, 11? 11. 11.
12, 11. 12. Did it go 12?
Ended up winning 5-4.
Well, they screwed up in the 11. Yeah, so it was the 11th.
Dodgers ended up winning 5-4. My thoughts of the game is definitely my thoughts is if you want to take down the big dog, you gotta knock him out. The Jays never had that knockout punch. They left way too many runners on base. As bad as the Dodgers were offensively, and it was bad. The Dodgers go into the record books as the second worst average to win a World Series. Number one was the Red Sox in 1917 batted 171. This Dodgers team as a team average in the World Series was 191. So, they, as bad as they are, that offense is just too good to give them opportunities. Yes, you go 4-2. You got Max Muncy, big home run. They never had the knockout punch that they needed. They needed they're up 4-2 and they had runners on third. I'm like, I was talking to my buddy who's a big Dodgers fan who I'll give him, he knows baseball. He's a baseball guy, Evan. So he knows the game and he's a Dodgers fan. He knows the game. I'm like, we're talking. He's like thinking they might lose. I'm like, maybe, but the Blue Jays got to score. They got to score a run here. They gotta get someone in. It's got to be 5-2. They never had that knockout punch. Now, I do think if Bo Bichette's healthy, it's a whole different ballgame. They score early in the game because he can actually run. They don't have to first off, they don't have to pull him every game late in the game because he can't run. Game 3, they probably end up winning Game 3 because he's in there because of his bat. And he was on one leg, hit that 3-run home run. I will say, can we put to bed, and I probably will get some serious hate for this, but I know you. Can we put to bed now that Shohei's like the greatest thing we ever saw? Shohei Ohtani's the greatest player we ever saw because he pitches and hits. I'm like, he didn't hit too well, and his pitching wasn't that great. And I was talking to my dad. It's kind of disrespectful to all the other pitchers that put in their life, blood, sweat, and tears to pitch in Major League Baseball. They live, breathe pitching. And he kind of just like, I'm going to go out and pitch. I'm going to go out and hit. But he didn't.
The thing that angers me is when they compare him to Babe Ruth. Because none of us saw Babe Ruth play, but Babe Ruth hit 14 home runs, played the outfield, pitched, literally was drunk, literally had a beer belly, and could kill a ball over all these stadiums. It didn't matter, choking blood, drunk. You cannot compare. And sorry to tell you this, he's a great, phenomenal, one of the best baseball players I'll ever see. But don't compare him. Don't say he's the greatest thing all because he pitches and he hits. Because when he pitches, he does not hit well. So because you could throw, I'm sorry, just because for me sometimes, go put him in the outfield. Put him in a game. I want to see how good he is when he plays center field and he hits. And by the way, the thing that angered me the most, Russ, What?
The 5-minute warm-up?
How the heck is he allowed when he's pitching, when he's hitting, he's not even hitting. He's allowed extra time in the dugout. Every time. How many Ohtani rules are there? There are 25. How many teams? 25 players on a baseball team on average?
There's 26 on the roster for the playoffs.
How is it this guy gets special treatment? Because he pitches? Because he pitches?
I even got no.
He's a great hitter. And you remember John Smoltz? By the way, John Smoltz, awful announcer. Did he even play for the Dodgers? And the guy was a homer.
Well, first off, before the playoffs, I'm like, okay, Smoltz talks a little too much, but he knows the game. But everything, like, let's go into this story. Let's go into my playing days. I'm like, Smoltz, shut up. Do you have money on the Dodgers? Second off, with Ohtani, like we saw Ohtani last year in the regular season, he wasn't good in the playoffs. He was hitting doubles, hitting singles, stealing bases. Now he's doing both. He hits. I've got no argument. My best friend since high school. He's like, well, Ohtani had, did something pitching in the playoffs in the World Series. He gave up 4 runs. I'm like, 4 runs? That's not a quality start. I'm like, why are we a starting pitcher gives up 4 runs? That's not a good start. I don't put a quality start when I give up 4 runs. But it's the like you see these pitchers. You see John Smoltz, who's in the booth. He lived, breathed pitching. The minute he got there in spring training, he might have took a month and a half off. He was throwing. He was pitching. He was doing everything. This guy's like, I can do both. Does he care about it? He's like, no, I'm just a freak athlete. I can do both. It's kind of a slap in the face to all those other guys who are pitching.
Yeah. But for me, when people talk about this, there was a topic of the show, the greatest World Series ever. The Dodgers did not win the World Series. The Blue Jays lost the World Series.
That was literally
because in every game that the Dodgers won, it was this close. Every game that the Blue Jays won, they dominated. They won. The Dodgers won because they had a Madison Bumgarner on their staff. They had Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who was signed to a contract before he ever got signed to a $300 million contract, $25 million contract before he stepped into America. They are an import team where any Japanese player that wants to come play will go to LA. They don't develop any other players. Look at all their star players. Never developed one of them. Not one of them. The Jays shot themselves in the foot with. I've never seen such poor for a team that's hit the ball and contact hitters. I've never seen more poor base running in my life. Whether it's George Springer in Game 7, not knowing it was ball 4, Bo Bichette in Game 3, not knowing it was strike 3, and same thing. IKF being scared at not taking a lead off third base. And by the way, you know what angers me more about that whole thing, Russ?
If it's the same thing I'm thinking, then
he shouldn't have slid.
He shouldn't have slid.
He should have ran through. Him sliding actually slowed him down. Had he run through and reached with his foot?
You know this. You're a baseball guy. When you got a bang play at first, what do they say to do at first base? You run through the bag.
Yeah.
You never slide.
Slide slows you down.
So that's a forced play. So your sliding doesn't really matter. You're not trying to dodge a tag. Second off, IKF you played baseball like me. You're at third base. You go as far as the third baseman is. Is third baseman a little farther off? I can get more. But what's the next thing you do?
Did you see how deep Muncy was?
The next thing you do after that, pitcher goes, you take a shuffle, you take 2 shuffles, and you take a secondary lead and get ready. And he goes, well, we didn't want to get picked off. I'm like, you're a pinch runner.
He didn't even care where you were.
No. And how many times did they pick off at third in
Never.
Major League Baseball?
So that angered me. The base running killed me. The dead ball bothers me because it's happened before where the ball's been dead. There was a game back with Prince Fielder back in the day. Alex Rios was the right fielder. Same thing happened to give Fielder the home run. That bothered me. Barger not knowing the play bothered me. What bothered me was the constant, I need to replace this player. Bringing in Miles Straw, replacing Bo Bichette, drives me bananas that we kept on doing it. Then Varland was fine, but then the moments he brought in Bassett, the moments he brought in Bieber, the moments he brought in Hoffman, it was just the way he was doing it. He was trying to be so regular season focused and not bring in your best pitcher at the best time. In the ninth inning, I don't care if you have to bring in Gausman again.
Yeah.
I bring in Gausman. I bring in Bieber. I don't bring in Jeff Hoffman. I'm sorry. Jeff Hoffman is giving up a home run.
I've literally said he's susceptible.
Oh, no, Scherzer was, but Scherzer, of all the pitchers that pitched, Scherzer was the best.
Yeah.
But all of them, you bring in your ground ball pitcher. You don't bring in your home run pitchers. But it didn't matter if it was Bassett would have been better in the ninth because Bassett's a ground ball hitter. I would have done that. You don't bring in Sisevich. You don't bring in Bieber. You brought in people who gave up home runs, and it drove me bananas. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, if you think about this, they won strictly on starting pitching. Yamamoto did something I've never seen. 3-0 in the playoffs, Bumgarner life. What it proves right now is if you don't have a dog in the bullpen, we talk about football, dog in the bullpen, that literally that puts the fear of God into the pitcher, who's a ground ball pitcher, who can put the fear of God into batters, you're never going to win. Every team seems to have that.
As good as Gausman was, and obviously no one expected Savage to be this good in the playoffs, And
the fact that they relied on a 22-year-old in that moment tells you they were
as good as those guys were. Gausman doesn't scare people
no one scares him.
I literally said, going into Game 5, this is a must-win because even though you'll get back and you got Game 6 and could go 7, you got Yamamoto in Game 6. Nobody's touching this.
But also, I don't want to hear. I know it's a different situation. I got into an argument with my friend about this. Oh, it's a single guy. Not everyone can do it. Pitch count? Screw pitch count in Game 7 of the World Series. I don't care.
They pulled Scherzer too early.
Way too early.
He was cooking.
Way too early. They did not plan it correctly, and they played. They tried to play a regular season. They played the World Series like it was a regular season game.
With the analytics.
Miles Straw could not hit. David Schneider could not hit. Anthony, when you look back, the Anthony Santander and not using that $20 million for something else, but also Jimenez in that game. The swipe, the slap the pitch to Muncy. I understand how close the slap. I'm tired of the opposite field nonsense and trying to place the ball. It drives me bananas. Also, the wrong play from Schneider on ball 1. The first pitch to Kirk, you send Barger. I don't care. You send Barger because Will Smith is not going to throw that ball because Guerrero is going to fly. You send Barger on pitch 1. Worst case, you get him out, but you get rid of the double play ball. And it changes the mindset of Kirk. Kirk was scared. Everyone knew. I knew Kirk is hitting into a double play. Kirk is hitting into a double play. I was
like, please, just hit the ball in the air like this.
No. Because the moment that Smith hit that home run, they were cooked. Because had this been on the road, they wouldn't have lost this game. But they had nobody left. And it was just the fact that the bench, which was good for them in the off, they didn't have enough deep enough bench for what they needed. Because when they took up Bichette, they didn't have the guy to replace Bichette. They didn't have the batter. When you look at the lineup, I understand. When you look at Ohtani, then you look at Smith, then you look at Freeman, then you look at Betts, then you look at Muncy, you look at Teoscar. And then at one point one of them is going to wake up. Yeah. When Straw and IKF are in your top 5 in the bottom,
when Straw gets up, I'm like, oh, this isn't out.
Pop line, ground ball. So for me, the Jays lost this game. I should have predicted the Jays lost this World Series. The Dodgers did not win this World Series. As good as Yamamoto was, you could get them. You got to Ohtani early on, then you couldn't pile it on. They left so many runners on base. It was bananas. I've never seen a team leave that many runners on base.
I've got, how many FUs I've got when I told my dad, I said, congrats, you won the World Series, but the Jays lost. At the end of the day, it's a Jays lost this World Series. You didn't win the World Series.
And by the way, I people are saying, like, how are you wearing the S hat? Are you not really upset with the Jays? Number one, I hate the Maple Leafs. I don't like Toronto sports teams except for the Jays. So the Jays are my adopted team because of Guerrero and because of the fact that they were the other Canadian team, and I like the players on the team.
Yeah.
I like the core players. But this team is going to have a major overhaul at the end of the season. Like the Dodgers don't have to lose a lot of players. People are going to want to come back. The Jays have a lot of decisions to make. Bo is going to get a lot of money on the free agent market. Yeah, how 100% is he going to be? He probably wants to come back, but the problem is he's going to be your everyday second baseman. Because right now, let's look at their lineup. Guerrero at first, great. By the way, how did Ty France win a Gold Glove and not Guerrero? I don't understand that for me.
But hey, we're talking. We texted right after this. That double play Guerrero made, where
no one else makes that.
He fired it over, ran. I was like, oh.
But let's look at it. Nathan Lucas showed he was a minor leaguer for 10 years in the World Series.
Yeah.
Barger's going to be a star, but you could maybe put Barger at third. I don't know what's going to happen with Clement, or your Barger will be your starting right fielder. He was great in the playoffs. He got over what happened with the Yankees. Varsho will be back, great center fielder. Left field, Lucas will be back, but you need to have more depth there. He's not an everyday player. I'm sorry, he's not an everyday player. Because he wasn't not every day. Clement had a phenomenal year. You could put him back at third. Record holder for most hits in the playoffs. And then Guerrero's tied with Ozarena for second. Jimenez will be your starting shortstop. If you can get Bichette to come back, starting second base, great. The catcher, you have Kirk. This pitching needs an overhaul. And I don't know if you have to go get Sandy. I don't know from the Marlins. We have to look at we're going to do this in the offseason, who the free agent pitchers are. But this outside of Yasevich, and Gosman if he's there, I don't trust Hoffman. Dominguez won't be back. He's a free agent. Bassett, you might have to give some middle relief to because he's 37 years old. Maybe you'll sign him.
Gosman's getting up there too.
Varland will extend, but I don't need to see Little. I don't need to see. Maybe Fisher will be back, but the bullpen is going to the pitching. Once again, it's like most teams. This pitching staff needs a major overhaul.
I mean,
they need to go get an ace. They need to go get an ace, and they have to overpay for that ace. And people could say, well, the Jays were underdogs. You wonder what? They had the fourth highest payroll in baseball. There were the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Jays. They're paying the Canadian dollar.
Red Sox aren't top 10.
They're not top 10. Who's 4? Who's 3? Not the Red Sox? Who's 3?
I just had this the other
They're
day.
the fourth highest payroll in baseball. That's from one of my research.
They are. They are 4. You're right on that.
It's Yankees, Dodgers, and Padres? Padres, maybe.
Let me. I just had. So it's Yankees. It's Mets, Dodgers.
Mets. What am I thinking?
Mets, Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies, Blue Jays.
Oh, fifth. I have to see who the free agents are. We're going to go through the offseason and talk about it.
I think you need to get a dog. You don't have that dog pitching.
You don't know. You did not have a pitcher coming out of the bullpen.
No, you don't.
The Braves, because the Braves had, for example, the Braves when they won the World Series, they had John Smoltz. You had Kirk Schilling and yet Pedro for the Red Sox. You had Madison Bumgarner. You had these guys throughout the years. You had Framber Valdez. Every team has that dog. You had the Royals who were able to bring in their pitching. There was no pitcher there that was lights out. I'm going to get you. They had to put in Varland in 15 of 17 playoff games.
I mean, with the Jays, they've tried. I give them credit. They've tried to go get that big guy. They tried with Ohtani. They tried with Soto. They're number.
I don't want hitter. I want pitchers.
Yeah, the number one thing is trying to get Bichette back. They're going to have to re-sign Bichette, and they're going to have to sell him on playing second base because Jimenez is just too good to put him at second. His defense is too great. But like you said, Lucas showed that he was in the minor leagues for 10 years. They're going to have to go get a left fielder. But what wins in the playoffs? You got to have a deep bullpen. That's what wins.
The Dodgers didn't.
And the
Dodgers had to rely on Emmett Sheen,
who didn't look that great.
By the way, what were your thoughts on the hit on Jimenez in the bench clearing brawl?
Oh, I was like, this is. I was talking to Dolphins Thirst. He was texting me the whole time. He's like, I love this. I'm like, oh, this is so much. I was just like, God, why?
By the way, can I ask you a question?
He went like this.
Can I ask you a question? Do you find that this was, as an overall perspective, people are saying this could have been one of the most dramatic, one of the top World Series ever, which could have been. I think if I had to grade these two managers' performances in the playoffs, I both give them a D. These were two of the most uninspired, boring, unfired up, stupid managers. I do not like Dave Roberts as a manager because he's relying on the star power of his team. And I think John Schneider made poor analytical decisions in Game 3 when he had no one left. And in Game 7, make bad positions with the base runners. What are your thoughts? I just feel like the lack of the fact that right now they're naming all these guys in baseball. Walt Weiss was just named the manager of the Braves today. There's turnover with 9-10 manager openings this year.
Yeah.
The turnover in baseball management, I feel like the managing of baseball, the art of managing a baseball game. We talked about in a previous podcast, the Felipe Alou. We talk about Joe Torre. You talk about Terry Francona. You talk about Bob Melvin at different times, Bruce Bochy, different people. Well, I feel like the art of managing a baseball game has gone out the window. And I feel so poorly done.
And I saw this. I'll give credit. Dave Roberts' decisions in Game 7 were great. Taking out Tommy Edman and putting Andy Poggis.
No one knew. By the way, Kiki had no idea where the ball was. Not a clue.
No, it's dropping, and he just runs him over. But that was a great call. But I think, and I spoke as when I did my interview with Jabba Chamberlain, who was a World Series champion. I think he's actually a 2-time World Series. I think he was with the Royals. But you play analytics. But when it comes to October baseball, that goes out the window. I'm sorry. You got to have feel. You got to have the baseball instincts. Schneider did not do that. No. He played with the analytics. He played, yes, you wanted to play good defense. I'm sorry, Straw can't hit the broadside of a barn with a baseball bat. He'd probably miss his mouth if he's at the place, miss his mouth trying to put cereal in his mouth. It was the things that we both thought the Jays do well, which was smart baseball, putting the ball in contact, making smart running decisions, is what they did poorly and is what ended up losing the World Series. But like we've said, they didn't have as great as Savage was and Scherzer was. Scherzer's 41. He doesn't scare you. Scherzer could do what he did in Game 7, or he could give up 6 runs in the first inning. Savage is a 22-year-old guy, got drafted in 2024. There was no pitcher who scared you. Nobody coming out of the bullpen like the Yankees had with Mariano Rivera or like the Red Sox with Jonathan Papelbon. You're like, oh, crap. I got to get to this guy in the 8th early because I'm going to have to see, Mariano. I got to get to him.
Let's do the math. Let's just play this game. As good as defensively as they were, look at the lineups. If someone started a team tomorrow, you have first, maybe, this is the tough. You look at, people are going to take Ohtani over Springer as a DH. People are going to take Will Smith over Kirk as from a hitting perspective. The problem is that when you look at everything except for Guerrero and maybe Clement over Muncy, and Bichette was fine there was nothing that scared you, and that was the problem. Every time the Jays were up to bat, I was worried. I was more expected an out. When you come up and you see Ohtani, Friedman, and the fact that what crazy part was for us, they were getting these guys out and they were allowed. Jeff Hoffman. let a 36-year-old second baseman who was not even starting in the World Series, Tommy Edman,
He hit since October 1st.
to hit that.
His last hit was October 1st.
It's not acceptable. And the fact that
he hung that pitch.
No, but so did Yasevich, so did Bieber, because nothing there scared you. You were like nothing. That was the problem. They didn't have anybody. They all looked scared. And the crazy part about this is I'm tired of the fact, maybe it's the baseball itself, but I can't stand the fact that a team won Game 6 on 3 hits.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, home 2-run single. They had 3 hits against Gosman and the entire relief staff the entire game, and they won. 3 hits. How do the Jays lose a World Series game when the other team has 3 hits? Which tells you that they were nervous, they were scared, they were intimidated by a team that was basically saying, here's the World Series, beat us. And they had to bring in their 96-pitch, Game 6 pitcher to beat you, and you couldn't beat this guy. It wasn't like Madison Bumgarner, who came in the third of Game 6 or Game 7, was it? And then shut you down for 6 innings.
I'll give it,
I'm disappointed in John Schneider. Like, I honestly, as good as and he's going to win Manager of the Year. I if I could, I feel bad for Donnie Baseball. But by the way, I never asked you, Game 6, is that a dead ball?
I have no clue. I didn't think it was a dead ball, honestly. But I know everybody on MLB Network, how can it get stuck? I'm like, I really don't know. And everybody's going to say, I really have no clue. I'm not going to make a decision on that because I didn't think it was, but I wasn't there. I'm not on the field. I thought he could have got it. I think Kike, who was very smart, was like, hey, throw up your hands, we'll call it. And he threw it. I mean, you saw the center fielder started running to pick it up, and then, he threw his hands up. I better throw my hands up. So, I mean, that goes into Kike Hernandez being a veteran player. Yeah. He knew the rule. But it was also they had second and third, and Barger gets doubled up. So they still have the opportunities to tie it up. And gets doubled up when he had George Springer coming up. If George Springer doesn't get a hit, he's at least putting a quality at bat together. I'm sorry. I don't know. I know the LA people, everybody hates him because of what happened in Houston. George Springer is clutch. So, I mean, that's also, I'm like, yeah, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But also, even if it's not, you have second and third 2 outs with George Springer coming up. I'll take that all day. So I don't know on that, but that Dodgers lineup is too good to give them opportunities. Someone's going to come up and do something. Freddie Freeman didn't look good in the World Series. Mookie Betts was terrible until Game 6, and he finally got a massive hit that helped them win. Will Smith was the only guy doing anything in that World Series. Teoscar Hernandez was like 0 for 14. In the Rogers Center. So, I mean, and he was phenomenal, everything else. So, I mean, they're just too good. Ohtani, I'm done with the Ohtani's the greatest thing baseball's ever seen. I'm sorry, we can't compare Ohtani to Babe Ruth. It's like comparing when everybody wants to compare, LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I'm like, they played in 2 different eras, Babe Ruth played in 1917. All right, we can't really say the same thing. But Ohtani, his pitching ain't that – he's hittable. And he showed that he's hittable. His hitting, he's had 2 – I'm a dire Yankees fan. All right, nut job. And I think we agree on this because I know you being a Dolphins fan, I'll trash the Yankees more than I trash other teams. And I know you do the same that with the Dolphins. I hate – Aaron Judge got ripped for a full year on one bad postseason. You don't hear that Ohtani. Ohtani wasn't good last year, and he wasn't good this year. So can we start is it is he a playoff performer? Or is he just a regular season performer?
Yeah.
Because Judge was ripped. Oh, well, he had a really bad postseason. I don't know if he can do it. He came back and looked very good this year in a shorter stint because they only ended up playing 4 games against the Blue Jays. But Ohtani was not good in the playoffs last year. Very poor against the Yankees, and he was poor against the Blue Jays. And when he was facing the Yankees, he was going up against that bullpen and going up against Garrett Cole. This one, you're saying going up against the Blue Jays bullpen, which was not, nobody scares you, or Gosman and Yasevich. So, can we start that Ohtani's the greatest player we've ever seen? He's not. He's
by the way, that's built up by Fox Sports and the media. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. Every time, you never show Fox never focused on the Jays. They every time, here's what's happening at Cause whatever LA. Look at the reaction here. They never show what was happening throughout the series. It was such a lean toward This was not to say it was rigged. I'm never going to say something's rigged, but they wanted the Dodgers to win more.
Oh yeah,
it was very clear by American standards.
I will say,
Canadian television want Canadian. It's fine, but you can easily tell they wanted it south of the border. They just.
I will say, and people are like, "Oh, it's Toronto. It's a hockey town." They sold out. I don't know what the Raptors arena is called. I can't remember.
Where's this?
The Raptors, where the Raptors play.
Tangerine, Scotiabank.
Yeah. They sold that out for a watch party for people. I'm like, so
Tangerine Arena. I can't remember what it's called.
People were wanting to watch, and we saw it. 25 million people watched. 9 more million people watched the World Series, Game 7 of the World Series, than the NBA Finals last year. So, it was very big. Will I go out? This was the best World Series we've seen. I think there were some good games. That 18th inning game, I'm like, was that an unbelievable game? No, that was just 2 teams who couldn't find to get a hit. Game 7 was great. On a pure baseball fan, it was great. But I'm like, when I look at, if we're talking about a great World Series, I want to see an unbelievable 7 games. This pains me because the Yankees lost in 2001. But in 7-game series, that was minus 1 or 2 games. It was an unbelievable minus Game 6. It was a great World Series. I want to see a full to be the best World Series. I'm like, hey, this 7-game series, it's a nail-biter.
It wasn't great because half the game, the Jays dominated the majority of the World Series. The Dodgers were not good.
No.
The Dodgers were not good. They
won because of what I said, 2 good players who played good. Yamamoto was unbelievable. He won 3 games. And Will Smith I've always been a fan of Will Smith.
Yeah.
Great behind the plate, saved a lot of runs.
Oh, he gave up. Yeah, but he gives up a lot of wild pitches. He's no Alejandro Kirk. By the way, was his foot up? Was his foot back down?
Yes, I thought it was down.
Well, by the way, the dead ball, bothers me to no end. If you could pick up a ball, how is that dead? How is that dead? It was in the stadium.
Yeah, I don't know.
It bothers me.
It bothers me because I'm like, I wanted the Jays to win. I've literally said this: how much I love baseball. I had no skin in the game. I'm a Yankees fan. I was on the edge of my seat watching every single pitch.
Do you feel that in the World Series they should remove the grid on television?
Remove the box?
The box, because that gets the people.
Yes.
Because I feel the box tells people, oh, that's a strike. Or that's a ball. It doesn't actually get.
I've hated
it. By the way, if that's what we're going to rely on to determine balls and strikes, then why do we need umpires?
Yeah, I've hated that since they brought it up. I can't. 9 years ago? It's been a long. I hate that because then you're like, oh, this umpire sucks, and then that's going to be, and we'll get the robot umpires in the ABS system, and then people will start complaining about that. And then we'll get something worse. I 100% agree. I think it's terrible, but it was definitely a Jays loss. I think if and when we talk about lineups, like taking a Jays or combining Jays Dodgers, like a team, I might take one player off that Jays team. Maybe Varsho because Pagas sucked and couldn't hit. I would take Vladimir Guerrero and maybe Clement. But Vlad's the only guy on there who scares you in that Jays lineup.
And he was never hit or miss because, like, you knew even when he got on base on set, you were screwed.
Yeah.
Varsho was inconsistent. Barger was inconsistent. Bichette was out. Like, I always told you this. The Jays always have to have a lead. They don't come back if they're falling behind. They have to get ahead of the team. They have to get ahead. They're not good from behind.
I've looked into.
They have come from behind games in the regular season, but in this playoffs, the moment the Dodgers had a lead in a tight moment, the bat fell asleep. Yeah. Where was Alejandro Kirk's bat?
It was definitely they did it a couple times. But it was very early. They got the lead back. Third inning was a game one. Dodgers got a quick lead. They came back, tied it up, and that. But it was like the third.
I feel bad for Vladdy because he gave his heart and soul. Clement. I feel bad for the fans who, honestly, I don't know if you know this, the average ticket price on the resale market. I know people who drove from Montreal at 11 o'clock in the morning, drove 5.5 to 6 hours to Toronto for Game 7, bought tickets 20 minutes before they got in the car. I guarantee you they dropped $1,500 to sit in the last row of the stadium.
Yeah.
And they was in there. They had so many chances. They literally were on the 1 yard line and they basically fumbled twice.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do that? And that comes down to managing.
100%. It was Vladdy's the only guy who scares you. I feel bad. I mean, Vladdy wanted it. I was like, hey, this guy wants it I want to win it, and my ring's going to my father. Because
that was the only game he came to, by the way. He wasn't. They never showed Vladdy Senior until Game 7. Maybe he was there at Game 6. I haven't seen him before.
I think he was there Game 1.
Maybe.
They showed him for like 5 seconds.
By the way, I'm sorry to tell you this. The Dodgers are frauds to me because they don't win these World Series without players volunteering to come there.
Yeah.
You're a baseball aficionado. Who on that roster in the starting 9? Let's do the Jays. I'll do the Jays. Springer's been there for 6 years. 5 years, 6 years. Lucas is a developed player. Guerrero, developed player. Bichette, developed player. Varsho was traded for a developed player, but it was traded. He wasn't a free agent. Addison Barger, developed player. Jimenez was on a trade. It wasn't a free agent signing. Clement, trade, not free agent signing. Miles Straw, not a free agent signing. Trade. You look at what's his name? David Schneider, developed player. The lineup is a developed team. They got their trades for Gosman. They signed Gosman as a free agent. Yes, they trade for a lot of their players. You look at the Dodgers. Freeman, free agent signing. Betts, free agent signing. Otani, free agent signing. Yamamoto, free agent signing. Teoscar Hernandez, free agent signing. Can I keep going? All they do is sign players. They don't trade.
Betts was traded for.
Brett was traded, maybe.
The Red Sox got fleeced. Stupid.
Yeah, fleeced. All right, he was one of the trades. But he was. By the way, he was awful. But he was sucked in this World Series. He was irrelevant.
Will Smith is developed.
Will Smith, maybe in Muncie's developed, I think, right? Or no?
Muncie was cut. Literally, Muncie was
But the hardcore of their team?
Yeah.
They're hardcore. Snell and Glasnow were on the roster of the Rays when you beat them the last time in the World Series.
Did you see they joked about that? They said, if you can't beat them, join them.
Think about that. Glasnow and Snell were Rays. So the Dodgers are not they are not a baseball team. They are a free agent team. And that's what drives me nuts about this.
Man, that's always been
the... By the way, for me, this is why, and you're going to hear it from me, in this negotiation, I understand. I don't care if it's like the NFL or the NBA. If someone told me I had a vote, should there be a salary cap in baseball? There should be a salary cap in baseball.
Yeah.
Are you for or against salary cap in baseball?
I'm
for it.
90%.
I'm tired of seeing teams like the Pirates and
That's partially there's no salary floor.
There should be a floor and there should be a ceiling.
So that's where I'm like, if they're going to do a cap, there's got to be a floor. I think they need to get rid of the, deferred contracts.
Because what's going to happen? Tarek Skubal is $200 million off with the Tigers. So the Yankees will sign him. The Dodgers will sign him. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
I mean, 250. You're 250 away is what. So I mean, he's either getting traded, but also you look at the Pirates. The owner.
Paul Skeens is good. The Pirates are going to get fleeced for Paul Skeens.
He's not going to be there. They're going to trade him now, or he's not going to be there because they're not winning, and I don't blame him.
It drives me bananas. That's what I learned about the baseball season this year. Is the Dodgers only win because they were able to import two of the best Japanese imports that no one else was able to have a chance to sign.
Which they did. The Phillies offered 10 years, 300. The Yankees offered 10, 300.
The Jays offered the same amount of money as the
and then the Dodgers offered 12, 325. So if you look at it, the annual value, the AAV for both those would have been higher if you went to those. But I mean, it's as a competitor, I don't want to join. Like I get it. If I'm this great player, I was a good player. I'm like, I want to be on a winning team. I wasn't a great, unbelievable player. But if I'm, Sho Yamamoto, I'm like, I want to beat Shohei Ohtani. I don't want to be with I want to beat him. I want to, rub it in his face when I beat him. I just want to go join and be part of this great team. I'm like, I want to be – now, granted, he was the reason you ended up winning, but who knew that coming in? But it was I mean, it was great. I love baseball. I'm not a Jays. I'm not a Dodgers fan. I was watching every pitch right here, ready to go. I'm like, this is just October's the best time of the year. Now, we'll see what happens going into the offseason. And obviously, the 27 offseason is going to be, a big one with what happens. I think the Jays need to go hard for Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker. They need a left fielder. And we'll see what happens. The Dodgers lose like maybe Max Muncy and Kike Hernandez are free agents, and Clayton Kershaw is retiring. They don't lose much there, so don't expect them to be right back in the same situation next year. And they're already the betting favorites. 4 days after winning the World Series. But I mean, I love baseball. I mean, even when it's not my team, it's a bad October. It's so much different than every other sport.
Yeah.
Because you're watching baseball because of there's not as much action as a football or basketball. You got to be in tune to everything that's going on. You can't be, I have football. I'm like, I can sit back and I'm like, oh, okay. Now they're in the red zone, which doesn't happen too much because I'm a Jets fan. But baseball, I got to be here. That one little play affects that. I'm like, oh, well, I had to use the restroom. What happened? I'm lost this inning. I got to go back and watch a replay.
Yeah.
But definitely going to be back doing a little off season.
So will I. I'll be with you all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm trying to get some interviews too. Hopefully, get some good interviews up. But definitely do some off season stuff. Definitely pumped. We got Evan here, so I don't talk to myself for an hour.
I'll be back regularly with you whenever you need me.
100%. But definitely, do a little breakdown, talk a little off season, and just sit there and shoot the shit. Always fun. But
you can cuss on this network.
Oh yeah, excuse me. Parental guidance.
Don't worry about it. We're allowed on this. Don't worry about it.
I took the parental guidance off for a little bit. Sorry, Bobby.
All good. We're allowed.
I really, my thing is, I'm a big. I don't know if you like. I really like Bill Simmons. Really like Bill Simmons. I listened to his podcast. I used to like him when he was on ESPN before they let him go. I listened to his podcast with Ryan Russillo.
Yeah.
Every other word was an F-bomb.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. If maybe I'm getting excited, I throw it in, but I'm like, we can't come up with a better word every other word. So that's where I'm like, I try not to when I'm on here, but I'm like, sometimes you get excited and you're like, oh, you get a little too amped up and you're like, just throw it in.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely this was, want to thank everybody who tuned in for October baseball. Really glad we had Finn Stanza joining me for the playoffs run here. Too bad the Dodgers won, but that's baseball. But it was great. Probably going to take a couple weeks off here, but take a little
back
break.
with football. I'll be busy with football for a couple weeks, so it's okay.
Yeah. Back
and
to
hockey.
Both,
I'm busy with hockey too.
Back to both painstaking for both of us watching football, which is always fun. But
at least I know that we're headed towards lots of draft picks. So
what was your are you thinking McDaniel's done at the end of the year?
Nope. I think that my misery of life with Dolphins, being a Dolphins fan, is going to continue for as long as possible. So unless they go to 3, if they don't surpass 4 wins, maybe. But if they get to 5 or 6 wins, he's going to save his job. And the problem is, no one's going to want the job.
Would come in and be like, "I want my."
Oh no, because maybe Champ Kelly, the guy who's been the interim, will be the guy who gets the job. And by the way, if that happens, there will be a riot in the streets. No Dolphins fan will consciously be able to keep McDaniels as head coach. As much as Ross likes the guy, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You can't rebuild with a guy who's been there 4 years, who's progressively gotten worse.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, definitely, you're a Dolphins fan, tune into all that good Dolphin stuff that I hate, but most everybody here likes. So they do a good job. I'll give them that.
It. Well, you can start a Jets podcast. No one will show up.
No one talking. I don't know if I want to drive myself nuts for 3 hours yelling about that.
Exactly.
If you were by yourself every Sunday talking about Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer and the Miami Dolphins, you would drive yourself nuts.
Probably.
The amount of just yelling.
I'd just rather drive other people nuts. That's my job. If you recount what our last show that we did on Thursday night, I had Sammy literally pulling his hair because I troll. I instigate. I push. On Friday Friday night we did a podcast on the firing of Chris Greer, and I was poking the bear, and it was phenomenal.
I didn't know how long Chris Greer had been there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I saw that.
He's been with he got a job. He got the first time he was with the Dolphins. You were 9. You were 9.
I was so that was
2000. He became an executive involved with the Dolphins. 2001. Sorry, 25 years.
So I was 10.
Yeah.
But I didn't really because I saw the comments Stephen A. made. I'm like, he's been with the team 25 years.
Another big McDaniel's actually a minority, so you can't actually use that.
That's what I was like. McDaniel's Hispanic.
Yeah.
All right. I want to thank everybody who tuned into another episode of On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan here with Finn Stanza. Hope you guys have a great night.
Take care, guys.